What we want you to reach for is, can you feel a sense of poignancy that comes from both sides of the equation? In other words, can't you feel that after a while, this vortex, good as it is, and as much as you feel it, needs a little beefing up? And aren't you sort of willing to maybe leave the vortex long enough to find another question to which you seek an answer? To find another problem to which you seek a solution, because it is in that movement into the vortex that your real life becomes. In other words, some might say, oh, Abraham's going to open up a discussion where people can talk about being in the vortex, and the line's going to be out the door and around the block. It will never come to an end. But it did. Did you see it peter out? In other words, this is the power of what contrast does. Contrast keeps putting the stuff back into your vortex. And it is our promise to you, friends, you get your greatest lift from life moving into the vortex, not getting in and staying there. So what you want to do is stay in there long enough to understand the vibration of it. Stay in there long enough to feel the power and the clarity of it. And then from your place of knowing how easy it is to get in there anytime you want, to dive headlong into the contrasts that surround you for the purpose of ferreting out the expansion that you were born to discover. Are you getting what we're talking about? Because if it is not for the contrast that gives birth to the expansion, there could not be the movement into it, and it is the movement into it that really is the sweetness of life that so many of you are wanting to find. It all fits together so magnificently. You knew when you made the decision to come forth into this physical body that the diversity that surrounds you would help you to focus. And this has been a magnificent day of deliberately focusing energy. We have been so satisfied in listening to the words that you have been choosing. And what we always do, we listen with specific ear to the words that you speak in conjunction with the vibration that you're offering. And one of the things that we have found to be very exhilarating here today is so many of you speaking the vibration that you really are feeling. In other words, it is so satisfying to find you speaking what you know. And it is also satisfying to find you knowing what you know from inside the vortex. It feels to us that this gathering has reached a place of conclusion. Does it feel that way to you? You have the ability to think and choose. You have the ability to choose what you think about. You have the ability to choose the direction of your thought. You have the ability, therefore, to choose your vibration. You have the ability, therefore, to choose your point of attraction. You have the ability, therefore, to choose in any moment to focus into alignment with all that you are, or away from alignment to all that you are. And then make your way through your day as best you can. And it's probably not going to be easy, because you woke up there, and while you can direct your thought some, you may not make much headway on that first day. But that night, as you put yourself in your bed and everyone else is asleep, lie there and say to yourself, I'm going to do my best to bask myself to sleep. Because if I can find something, and the less important it is and the closer to you it is. Esther just bought a new pillow, and she loves her new pillow. It is the best possible pillow. She adores this pillow. We cannot overstate how much she loves this pillow. Jerry will say, good night, honey, I love you. And Esther will say, good night, honey, I love my pillow. It has taken that position in her life. But it's because she's been basking over her pillow. Mm-hmm. It smells right, and it's just the right size, and it fits under her head just right, and it's just the right density. It's just the right firmness. It's just this delicious, delicious, delicious pillow. And she has no issues with this pillow. It hasn't betrayed her. It hasn't forsaken her. It hasn't mocked her.
No.
And so she basks herself into alignment with this pillow and with her bedding and with her bed and with her life and with her. In other words, she just reaches as far as she can without losing her feeling of basking over something. And then off to sleep she goes. Now when she awakens, she wakes up in that basking place. Now, she lies in her bed just for a little while and lets the basking bloom into full-blown appreciation. But in the beginning, she has to be a little careful about it, because if she appreciates something that she doesn't really appreciate, her vibration will take a nosedive. So she just appreciates things that are really appreciatable. Really, she focuses on lovable things because her intention is to stay in that vibration, you see. Yes. And then from appreciation, she can go into a list of positive aspects or into a rampage of appreciation. Now, chances are, and it happened with Esther when we first were giving her this technique, that you might be only 10 or 15 minutes into your day. It's nice if you can get up before everybody else does, especially if you have a house full. The further you get into your day, the more likely you're going to find something to fuss and worry about. So the more you can set the tone of that vibration before you integrate with other things that might set you off, the better. So the first day, by the time everybody gets up, you might be back on your broom. But it's different than it was before. It's different because you've shown yourself that you have the ability to direct your thoughts and your vibration to something that feels good to you. And we're not kidding you. If you will do that every night and then every morning and then every night and then every morning, you'll find this new set point that will become the norm. So how do you stop doing that thing you do? How do you even identify that you're doing that thing you do that's keeping you from your alignment? Well, the first way to recognize that you're doing that thing you do that's keeping you from it is you feel negative emotion. And don't worry, if you don't notice the negative emotion and you keep doing that thing you do, the negative emotion will get more. And if you still ignore it, don't worry if you don't stop doing that thing you do, which is complaining, which is criticizing, which is pushing against, which is, you know what it is. If you still continue to do that thing you do that holds you in resistance to all that you are, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually you have a manifestational indicator. And to be really accurate and fair with you, you constantly have manifestational indicators. What you're living, your life as it is right now, is a perfect manifested indicator of your mix of vibration. So the money in your bank account matches your mix. The condition of your body matches your mix. The clarity of your mind matches your mix. The people you're hanging around with match your mix. The way people treat you in traffic matches your mix of vibration. Everything that is happening to you is a perfect law of attraction response to what you've got going on vibrationally. So, do you get the angle that we're offering to you here today? We started from the awareness that my emotions tell me about the vibrational relationship I've got going on. That's what emotions are. And usually when something happens, you have a reaction to it. And we do not see that you would want, or that you have anyway, to not be reactive to life. We just want you to be consciously aware that you are reactive to life. And then as soon as you're aware that you're reactive to life, then be proactive about it. Then be deliberate about it. So when you ask us to do a rampage of appreciation, we have to acknowledge that only a person who's in the vortex and in vibrational alignment with who they really are can benefit by a rampage of appreciation. Because if you attempt a rampage of appreciation in order to try to fix a negative emotion that you have, all that happens is, because the frequencies are so far apart, you just aggravate where you are in a stronger way. You're accustomed to noticing what is in this reality that you call reality. I can see it, I can hear it, I have physical senses that define it. So I can easily define the problem. And when the solution shows up, I will easily be able to define the solution. I know what the cure to polio now is. But what we want you to understand is that there is a solution that precedes all manifestation that is, as far as we are concerned, as we stand over here in your vortex of creation, in your vibrational reality, there is a solution that is already here. And while you can't see it, you can know it. So what we are suggesting to you is that if you could just ratchet back a little bit your need to see your solutions, and you could be willing to look forward with your emotions to feel the solutions. I know the solution is there. We know that when you find a way of coming into alignment, which means letting go of tension, coming into alignment, which means lining up with ease, coming into alignment, which means letting go of regret, coming into alignment, which means finding self-love. When you find a way of letting go of grudges and find a way to come into alignment with the lover that you are, when you are able to come into alignment with the whole that is you, then your world will feel good right now. And after all, that's why you want everything you want, isn't it? Isn't every single thing you want, whether it's a material object or a state of being or a pile of money or a relationship or a circumstance or an event, isn't every single thing you want because you believe in the having of it, you will feel better? And we just want to help you get it turned around in your own mind so that you can feel it in your own being. We just want you to remember that if you can get yourself to find a way of feeling good, regardless of what's going on. And by that we don't mean look at awful things and feel good about them. We say find a way of feeling good no matter what's going on, which is really about focusing. It's about focusing as best you can towards what feels as good as you can find it. If you can do that, then you can train, and we mean that in every literal sense, you can train your own vibrational patterns into harmony with who you really are and what you really want. And that's what causes a releasing of tension, because that's what causes a releasing of resistance. It's resistance to who you are, meaning resistance to who you are with all of the things that you've been asking for. It's resistance to who you have become that equals negative emotion. So your negative emotion is not your enemy. Negative emotion is your very best friend, because your negative emotion is pointing right at your self-inflicted, and it is every time, self-inflicted resistance, which is the only thing that is holding you apart from who you really are and all of the things that you want. It will feel so good to you to rediscover your own personal empowerment. We see so many of you standing in a place that you don't want to be, with all kinds of uncontrollable circumstances surrounding you. You can't control your economy. You can't control your government. You can't control what's going on with terrorism and violence around. You can't control your own children. You can't control what's going on in your experience. And yet you keep feeling like if you could just control that, and if you could just control that, if you could just find the power to control those circumstances, then you would feel better. You may be hearing the word you, because you are the one who wants and you are the one who doubts. Or you are the one who wants and you are the one who believes. You are the one who focuses on what you want, and you are the one who may be focused in opposition, but you are the one. You are the only one who can decide what you want, and you are the only one who can thwart it. Often you say, oh, no, it is not me thwarting this desire. It's the economy. And we say, but it's your focus upon the economy. It's your attention to the downside of things that causes you to keep active in your vibration contradiction. Now, before any of this makes sense to you, you have to remember that you are a vibrational being, and most physical humans don't remember that because you are so good at being vibrational beings, so good at interpreting vibration. You think you're flesh, blood, and bone. You think you're human. You think you're material in the sense that others can see you and touch you and recognize you and hear you. But you are a vibrational being, and everything that you know as your fully manifested life experience is an extension of that vibration. And if you will take the time to recognize the vibrational nature of you and reflect on